Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important topic related to medical coding anatomy, where we will be mainly discussing about the another classification of receptor by stimulus, that is nociceptor. Okay, so we will discuss what is nociceptor. It is also known as pain receptor. So we will discuss in detail what is noci and pain receptor, how it operates, what are the functioning. Okay, and also we will discuss the each type of nociceptors. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic. Because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on nociceptors, but prior to that you should know what are other types of receptors that we have already covered on the basis of stimulus. Okay, so if you know about those things, then things would be much more easier for you. Okay, so for that you can also refer the Tech Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find thousands of sessions available in both Hindi as well as English language. So without any language barrier, you can easily consume the content. And if you have any queries or questions related to that, feel free to reach out to me through comment section. I would be more than happy to answer all your questions there. Okay, alright, so let's see what we have as a nociceptors. So we'll start from the definition itself. So definition is very simple and straightforward. Nociceptors is something related to pain. Okay, so it's a pain receptor. So you can say nociceptors are the sensory receptor that detect potential harmful stimuli. Okay, potential harmful stimuli such as extreme heat, extreme cold, strong pressure, and chemical released by the damaged tissue, and later it convert those pain into the nerve impulses that are perceived as a pain. Okay, those stimuli as a pain. So overall we can say that definition is very simple, that nociceptors or pain receptors are the sensory receptor that detect potential harmful stimuli such as extreme heat, extreme cold, strong pressure, and chemical released by the damaged tissue, and then later it convert it into nerve impulses that later are perceived as a pain. Clear? Now we will talk about its location, like where we have this nociceptors. So nociceptors and pain receptors found throughout almost every tissue of the body, in the skin, in the muscle, in the joints, bones, and the most of the internal organs as well. Okay, so they are the most widely distributed sensory receptors in the human body. This is also an important question. They are the most widely distributed sensory receptor in the human body. Now a few things needs to be understand, like there are few things where nociceptors are not present. Okay, the first is the brain tissue itself. The brain has no nociceptors or pain receptor. This is why brain surgery can be performed while the patient is awake. Okay, that's the reason. You might have heard this in news, right? Brain surgery is performed when the patient is awake. Why? Because brain does not have nociceptors. The scalp and the skull have the pain receptors, but the brain tissue does not. Okay, second is cartilage. Cartilage has no nociceptors, which is why cartilage damage is not immediately painful. Okay, so these are the two things that you should know, but how they are not found in. Okay, nociceptors are not found in these situations. Structure wise, nociceptors are free nerve ending. They are the simplest type of sensory receptor, just bare unencapsulated nerve endings. Clear? So I think structure wise we are good, definition wise we are good, location is also clear, and we also know like where we don't have the nociceptor or pain receptor. Now it's time to understand its type, because every receptor has its own type, right? So it has three types. First is mechanical nociceptors, second is thermal nociceptor, and third is chemical nociceptor, which is also known as polymodal nociceptors. Okay, Now, what is mechanical nociceptor? So as its name suggests, like mechanical is something related to pressure, thermal is something related to heat or temperature, and chemical nociceptor is something related to chemical. Clear? So now we will talk bit about the mechanical nociceptor, like what it is basically. Okay, so it responds to the intense mechanical pressure like cutting, crushing, pinching. So these all things comes under a mechanical nociceptor. It conduct a signal through a delta fibers, fast conducting, produce sharp, immediate and well localized pain. Okay, so it produce sharp, immediate and well localized pain. This is the first pain you feel immediately after injury, sharp and precise. Okay, so this is the first very sharp and very precise pain. Okay, so it's you can say it's a pinpoint pain. Okay, second thing is thermal nociceptors. It responds to the extreme temperature like very hot above 45 degrees centigrade or a very cold below 10 degrees centigrade. Okay, it conducts signals through A delta fibers, which is also a fast conducting. Okay, so remember these two things are the fast conducting because other one is not. Okay, now the next thing is chemical nociceptor, which is also known as polymodal nociceptors. Now in case of polymodal nociceptor, it responds to a chemical released by the damaged or inflamed tissue. Okay, it is released by the damaged or inflamed tissues. Bradykinin, prostaglandin, substance P, potassium ions and hydrogen ions. Okay, also respond to mechanical and thermal stimuli. That is why they are called as polymodal. Why? Because it contains it also raise the response to mechanical and thermal stimuli. That's why we are saying it as a polymodal or multimodal receptor. The next thing is it conducts signals through a C fiber, slow conducting, produce dull, aching, burning and poorly localized pain. Okay, so here the pain is poorly localized. Now next we have last thing. This is the second pain, the dull throbbing ache that follows after initial sharp pain. Okay, just after initial sharp pain it is followed and it is called as chemical nociceptor or polymodal nociceptor. Okay, so we discussed the types. Now it's time to understand the types of pain, like how many types of pain are there. Okay, so I have created this simple table which will explain you everything in a detail. The first thing is first pain is acute pain. Okay, immediate, sharp, well localized, felt right after the injury like a delta fibers. Next is chronic pain, which is dull, aching, burning, poorly localized, persist after initial injury, and the type of fiber is C fiber. This is the third one is very important, referred pain, because here in the situation pain perceived at a location different from where the actual tissue damage is occurring. Okay, and the type of fiber is visceral C fiber. Next we have is phantom pain, pain perceived in limb or organ that has amputated or removed, which is called the fiber type is central sensitization. Okay, so we got the pain, but there is very unique thing, right? Referred pain. Let's try to understand it more. What is referred pain? Because it is an important concept. Okay, so referred pain occur when the pain from an internal organ is felt in a different area of the body. This happens because sensory nerve fiber from the internal organ and from the skin area both enter the same level of the spinal cord, and that's why the brain misinterprets the signal coming from the skin. Clear? Now there are a few examples and it will give you more clarity. Okay, the heart attack. We know that pain referred to the left arm, jaw or neck. Okay, that is referred pain. Appendicitis, pain initially referred to the umbilical region. Gallbladder, pain referred to the right shoulder. Kidney stone, pain referred to the groin. Diaphragm irritation, pain referred to the shoulder tip. So these are the classic example for the referred pain. But I think now you know the condition, like why it happens, right? This is because of the receptors, nociceptors. Okay, now we'll talk about the next thing that is related. I think now we are done with all the things. It's time for the question, and today's question is, how many type of thermoreceptors are there? Okay, we have already discussed this thing in detailed way, so I'm sure like you know the answer of this question. So please do share your knowledge in the comment section so that others can take a reference from it. And if you do it consistently, I'll try my best to give a shout out to all those viewers who are consistently writing the answer and sharing their knowledge. So we will create one special video for them as a shout out video, and I'm currently preparing it. Okay, so please do share your knowledge, and also make sure that whenever you write the answers to these comments, it gives me the notification that you guys are learning from these these series, and the more number of comments would be there, accordingly I will release the more new sessions. So keep commenting, keep answering the questions, and get the new sessions released. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session. Meanwhile, you can refer the TechShareMate digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. So yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session. So thank you for watching TechShareMate.